Outrage swept across the sports world as Travis Kelce sat in stunned silence, blindsided by an on-air insult that questioned his worth beyond the game. But, as the controversy spiraled, buried secrets came to light. A high-stakes lawsuit was filed, and the analyst who mocked him never saw the shocking fallout coming. The moment the words left the analyst's mouth, the entire studio fell silent. The tension was thick, the air charged with an undeniable sense of discomfort. The host, momentarily caught off guard, shifted uneasily in his chair. Some panelists exchanged glances, half amused, half nervous, as if realizing that what had just been said wouldn't go unnoticed. Travis Kelce sat calmly, his face unreadable, but his silence spoke volumes. His jaw clenched briefly, a subtle but unmistakable sign of restraint. He wasn't new to criticism, but this was different. This wasn't about his game, his stats, or even his off-field life. This was an attack on his character, his leadership, and his credibility. The cameras kept rolling. The analyst smirked, sensing that his words had landed. "Let's be honest," he continued, leaning back in his chair. "These guys are athletes. They're entertainers, not thought leaders, not visionaries. They should leave the serious conversations to the experts." Then the floodgates burst. Social media erupted within minutes. The clip spread like wildfire. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, even news outlets picked it up. Fans were furious, calling out the blatant disrespect towards Kelce and, more broadly, towards athletes who had worked tirelessly to become more than just players. Fellow NFL stars, former athletes, and even celebrities jumped in, publicly defending Kelce. Headlines flooded the internet. Travis Kelce mocked on live TV. The internet fights back. Sports analyst disrespects NFL superstar. Fans outraged. Travis Kelce silent after harsh criticism. Will he respond? Kelce, for all the chaos erupting around him, remained quiet. His silence became another talking point. Would he fire back? Would he let it slide? The network, now in damage control mode, released a carefully worded statement. They distanced themselves from the analyst's remarks, but stopped short of condemning them outright. But the controversy wasn't dying down. If anything, it was only getting started. And soon, a shocking revelation would flip the entire situation on its head. The studio lights reflected off the polished set as the audience hushed in anticipation. It had been days since the controversy erupted, but Travis Kelce had remained silent until now. Seated across from a well-respected talk show host, he adjusted his suit jacket, exhaling slowly. The cameras rolled. The world was watching. The host leaned forward, eyes locked onto Kelce. "Travis, the remarks made about you on live TV sparked a massive reaction. You've stayed quiet until now. What's your response?" Kelce, always known for his easygoing nature, showed no trace of a smile. Instead, his gaze was steady, controlled. His voice, though calm, carried an unmistakable weight. "I have dedicated my life to leading by example, on and off the field. If that's not leadership, I don't know what is." The room fell silent for a split second, and then the audience erupted into applause. The words were simple, yet their impact was undeniable. Social media immediately latched onto the moment, clips flooding Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Kelce just put that whole argument to rest in one sentence. Athletes aren't just entertainers. They inspire, they lead, they make a difference. But while Kelce's words resonated, the controversy was far from over. Backstage, whispers circulated, journalists digging deeper, looking for the full picture. That's when a bombshell dropped. Leaked reports revealed that the analyst, who had publicly mocked Kelce, had a history of targeting high-profile athletes. He had done it before, and now the receipts were surfacing. An independent investigation unearthed old emails and behind-the-scenes conversations where the analyst had actively sought to undermine certain athletes. The more reporters uncovered, the clearer it became. This wasn't just about Kelce. The backlash hit the network hard. Sponsors started to distance themselves, questioning the integrity of the discussions on air. Pressure mounted, and executives scrambled for damage control. Kelce, meanwhile, wasn't done. After consulting his legal team, he made a bold move, announcing a defamation lawsuit against the analyst and the network. "This isn't about me," Kelce stated in a press conference. "It's about respect for athletes and the way we're portrayed in the media." The sports world shook at the implications. This was no longer just a debate. It was about to become a defining moment in sports media history. The lawsuit sent shockwaves through the sports and media industry. The moment Travis Kelce's legal team filed a defamation suit against the analyst and the network, the story escalated from a heated debate to a full-blown media war. Headlines flooded news outlets, and the controversy dominated trending searches across all platforms. The analyst, once smug and confident, now scrambled to defend himself. "I was simply expressing my opinion," he stated in a carefully crafted PR response. "This is an overreaction." But the damage had already been done. The backlash was relentless. Late one evening, a bombshell report surfaced from an anonymous source. An insider at the network had leaked a series of damning internal emails. The documents, obtained by investigative journalists, exposed a deliberate effort to manufacture controversy at the expense of athletes. Leaked email number 1. "Let's push this debate further. Controversy equals ratings. We need someone to challenge Kelce harder." Leaked email number 2. "Keep the narrative focused on questioning athletes as leaders. Makes for a more compelling discussion." Leaked email number 3. "Kelce's influence is growing. Let's make sure we don't paint him as too credible outside of football." The emails went viral overnight. Social media erupted in outrage, calling for accountability, with hashtags like #AdonTweeters expose the media and #922 justice for Kelce dominating discussions. Sponsors began pulling ads from the network, unwilling to be associated with manufactured smear campaigns. Other athletes came forward, sharing their own experiences with media bias and unfair coverage. Former employees of the network spoke anonymously, revealing that these tactics had been used before. Travis Kelce, who had remained calm throughout the storm, now had clear evidence that this wasn't just a personal attack. It was a systemic issue. Finally, he broke his silence with a powerful statement at a press conference. "This was never just about me," he said, his voice steady yet firm. "It's about respect for athletes and the way we're portrayed. We deserve better." The room fell silent. Then thunderous applause erupted. This was no longer just a lawsuit. It was a reckoning. The weight of the controversy had become too much for the network to ignore. After days of relentless backlash, mounting pressure from sponsors, and a tidal wave of public outcry, the executives had no choice but to take action. The network issued a formal statement on national television, publicly apologizing to Travis Kelce. "We acknowledge that statements made on our platform unfairly misrepresented Travis Kelce's contributions beyond football. We regret any harm caused and are committed to fostering balanced discussions moving forward. But the damage was already done." The analyst at the center of the controversy, once an untouchable figure in sports media, found himself facing the fallout. His social media accounts were flooded with criticism, major brands pulled their endorsements, and eventually the network placed him on indefinite leave, a polite way of saying his career was over. Kelce, however, had the final say. At a highly anticipated press conference, reporters filled the room, cameras flashing as he took the stage. He could have gloated, could have revealed the downfall of the man who tried to discredit him. Instead, he took a deep breath and spoke with clarity. This was never about money. It was about accountability. Athletes work just as hard as anyone else to be leaders, and we won't stand for being diminished just for the sake of controversy. His words resonate beyond sports. The scandal forced networks to reevaluate how they portrayed athletes, leading to industry-wide changes in media ethics. As Kelce left the podium, he had won more than just a lawsuit. He had redefined the conversation around leadership, respect, and integrity. The auditorium buzzed with anticipation as Travis Kelce stepped onto the grand stage, the spotlight casting a sharp silhouette behind him. The moment was surreal. What had begun as a heated controversy had now transformed into something much bigger. A movement, a lesson in leadership. The room, filled with business leaders, young athletes, and influential figures, fell silent as Kelce adjusted the microphone. He glanced at the crowd, a mix of familiar faces and strangers, all waiting to hear his words. He wasn't just speaking as an athlete tonight, he was standing as an advocate for change. "Leadership isn't about a title," he began, his voice steady, "or what people expect of you. It's about standing up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable." The crowd nodded in agreement, some hanging on to every word. They had followed his journey, from the shocking remarks on live television to the lawsuit that forced a major sports network to change its ways. Kelce had taken a stand, not just for himself, but for every athlete who had ever been dismissed as just a player. He continued, his tone firm but reflective. "I could have ignored it, could have let it slide. But what happens when we stay silent? We allow others to define our worth." A ripple of applause spread through the audience, growing louder. This wasn't just about him anymore. As he finished, he looked out at the young athletes in the crowd. "The next time someone tells you that you don't belong in a conversation, prove them wrong." The room erupted in applause. Kelce had done more than clear his name. He had changed the game forever. Do you think sports analysts should be held accountable for their words? Or was Travis Kelce right to take legal action? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more powerful real-life storytelling.